David Duke, top of the arc. Here's Pip, guarded by Gillespie. Steps back, spins, fires! Woo! Pip dance!
They get another crack. They'll go to their senior. And he lays it in. Two big buckets by Alpha Diallo.
David Duke, down by 3. 5 seconds. Reeves for the tie. He got it!
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Dish. I'm Ben Bellotti here with Robbie Cannon. How you doing today, Rob?
Pretty good. It's been a long day. I woke up early this morning to go move out, Ben. I know you were there shortly after me.
Same here. I was there right after you. Just missed you, I think. Probably about 30 minutes. I just missed you by. But
shame.
Yeah, how'd that go for you? Smooth process?
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. I didn't realize how dusty my room was.
Oh my God, I don't want to go back to the campus.
Me neither. I was like, this place was clean too. Yeah. Like, how did this even happen?
No, my parents were like, were you sad? I was like, no, I'm happy. I saw the place. I can't believe I ever lived there. It's covered in dust, and it had to be like that the whole time. I mean, obviously a little more dust, but I mean, come on.
I know, for real. I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like pulled stuff out from under my bed and like dust went flying.
Yeah, not good.
But yeah, no, a sad day.
No, but I just was they didn't even check me at the gate. I was just in and out. I probably could have went any time.
I agree, me too. It was pretty smooth though, I will say. There was no one there. Although my door didn't unlock. The battery to my keypad was dead, so I had to call public safety.
That happened to me earlier in the year, but I figured that out.
Tough circumstances, but it's what it is. So it was overall a pretty smooth process, I will say.
You want to talk about some sports now?
Yeah, I think that we're ready to do that.
All right, let's get down to it. All right, first off on the table, we got MLB. Officially, still don't know what's going on. Don't know anything. There's a lot of ideas thrown out, and this one idea in particular caught my eye. So,
okay, let's hear it.
What they're proposing has not happened for about, like 20-ish years, a little longer than that. So basically what's going to happen, it's a shortened season, obviously. It's already shortened as of now. So they are going to play this year according to this proposal. Again, not stated from the MLB, just a random outside source. So we're going to have around 30 to 40 games, except here's the catch. They're only going to play in their own division. So let's say we're the Red Sox because, we love the Red Sox. We'd only play the Yankees, Blue Jays, Orioles, and Tampa Bay Rays. No one else until the playoffs. So then the playoffs happen, and you play a team you've never seen in the regular season before. You don't know what they're capable of you only have their record and, like, highlights and all that. You've never played them physically. So this used to be a format back in the day, before the wild card, before all that. And so we think maybe it'd be, instead of just something completely new and random, it would be a little, reminiscent of the past, get something going. And maybe it would be interesting, maybe it wouldn't, but hey, it would only be like 40 games tops.
No, so what do you think of it? Do you like it, or? It's
cool. I personally, I mean, obviously I like the regular season the way it is now, but it would definitely be cool. I mean, you get the same amount of Red Sox Yankees games you would in the season if it wasn't shortened. And I mean, it'd be cool to play your division the whole time, I guess. A lot of rivalries would form. I like the interleague play though that we have in regular season, but this idea is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind it for, a month or two.
Yeah.
If that's all we're gonna get. Baseball is baseball.
Yeah, no, what I think is to me they're actually making something out of, I guess, nothing. I mean, every sport's been handed a tough hand, and I think that'd be pretty cool because one, those games become a lot more meaningful when you're
exactly
every single night.
Exactly, that's the point. So yeah, so that's a proposed thing. Pretty interesting. I would be on board just because, like I said, baseball is baseball. But in real baseball news, there has been some things. They figured out what is going to happen to players regardless of what happens with the season, regarding service time. We've probably talked about it on the show or not, but basically to become a free agent, you need about 7 years service time, and MLB service time that is. So what they're going to do is take the service time a player had last season, and that is going to be their service time for this season, no matter how long or how short, if there's a season at all. So let's say Mookie Betts, right? Last year had a full year service time with the Red Sox, then gets traded to the Dodgers in the offseason. Like we know, we talked about it, we cried about it, all that. This year, no matter what happens, it's going to be as if he played a full season with the Dodgers. So theoretically, no season happens. He still has a full year under his belt. He comes back to the Red Sox as a free agent because he will become a free agent, and he'll be a Red Sox for life, never playing an actual game as a Dodger.
I like where your head's at. No,
But I mean that's just something that could happen. But all these players are getting. If you had half a year service time, you get half a year service time. So that's figured out. All the players agree on it. They voted on it. So
that does make sense.
No matter what happens, if something does happen, they're going to be prepared for it. They're preparing in all different situations. The one thing they have said is they're only going to play if there's fans and if fans are able, because that's how all the revenue is generated, basically. Yep. So nothing will happen until it's safe for everyone to go to the game and enjoy it.
So that's where the MLB will probably differ from some other sports, where the NBA would probably – they have a lot – I would assume that TV revenue in the NBA, especially down the stretch playoffs and down the stretch of the regular season, is probably significantly more than the TV revenue from that the Red Sox get from NESN.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess you could see why other sports would be able to do no fans and still have a profitable.
Right. I mean, you still have the TV deals and all that, but I think it's more than half the revenue is generated by the fans because, you know, it's such a local following for each team.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's all I got for MLB right now. So,
there's been a little news in the actually not really even news. So it's been kind of coming. But tomorrow it's expected to be finalized in the NFL. Adding 2 more playoff teams. So you would go from 12 to 14 playoff teams.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for.
Yeah.
The more football, the better.
More football. Yeah. I know we talked about the discussion of this with the MLB, and I know you were on board with it, kind of having that football mindset. For football, I absolutely love this. I think it would be awesome. Like you said, more football is more football. The football season's already so short, so extending it's only going to make it better. The one concern is that, you know, it's players, but I mean, it's not really any more games for them, but just more teams.
Right, exactly. So yeah, the only concern I guess that comes out of it is player safety. Which,
right.
What you're gonna maybe a team plays 1 extra game if they go on a miracle run. I mean, you're looking at like a 7 seed who would have to play that extra game.
Yeah, but 1 extra game is not going to make that much of a difference. And if it does, the argument is, hey, this could have happened in, you know, preseason practice squad. So at the end of the day, it's not adding that much extra games at all. And if like you said, it's more football. Just the fans are going to love it. I think it's going to make it exciting. Maybe, you know, now, I mean, there's not going to be another Patriots dynasty like there was, but if the Patriots are dominating that, you know, their division, now another team gets another chance, maybe.
Maybe Buffalo can sneak in a little more often, once every 5 years.
Right.
But yeah, no, I like it. I mean, I think ultimately it's the owners, I think, are voting on it tomorrow. It's already been passed by the players, which that was the real question mark. Would the players pass it?
Right.
Obviously the owners, that's a heck of a lot more money in their pockets, so they're gonna pass that tomorrow.
I mean, I don't know how right I am thinking like this, but doesn't this make it more teams force their hand to be more competitive? You know, you're gonna have more competitive teams now because they know there's a chance they might get that extra spot.
Yeah, I mean, now it's almost half the teams in the league will make the playoffs. So 14, so half the teams would be 16. So, I mean, you're looking at a team who's maybe, I don't know, so we'll say there's going to be seven from each division. I mean, if you're the 10th team in the division, 11th team in the division, you're playing for something coming down the stretch.
Exactly.
Whereas in the final 2 or 3 games of 4, you're playing spoiler for a team like New England, who's trying to get the 1 seed or 2
Yeah,
seed.
now you'll see a lot more of these superstars spread out instead of on, only like 3 or 4 teams. They'll be spread out a lot more, and it will just be a well-rounded team altogether.
Yeah, exactly. And you won't have to worry about a guy like, I can't even remember. There were some big names who didn't make the playoffs last year. In terms of just eyeballs, Deshaun Watson, they barely snuck in, and then they had some unforgettable games in the playoffs. One against the Bills, Titans. So it's all overall it's a good idea in my opinion.
Yeah, I love it. It's awesome. Definitely.
But yeah, that's, again, absolutely the slowest possible thing that we can have in the sports world right now. So, do you have any other sports news, or you want to kind of kick over to our next segment?
No, there really, really, like you said, hasn't been anything else. I don't want to be like ESPN, just going looking for random topics to talk about. I want something that we research and we get behind, and I think we've done that. So we're gonna stick to that plan unless anything comes to my phone and nope, it's empty because nothing's happening.
No, but no, to our listeners out there today, I think that you guys will you'll like this next segment. When Ben sent it to me, I was all in.
Yeah.
We both did.
There actually, I lied. There was actually one notification.
What was it?
We already knew this was coming, but the NCAA officially has approved an extra year of eligibility for spring sport athletes. So that's huge.
Yep.
I know we already talked about it, and everyone's been talking about it. So that's just something that everyone was hoping would happen is official. So yeah, like you were saying, this next topic, very excited for it. So why don't you explain what I brought?
So essentially, you sent it over, and it's just we're gonna do a player profile on somebody that we picked. So
player.
Yeah, of any player in any sport. Essentially, we're going to just kind of tell their story from the beginning all the way through where they are now.
Yeah, and this is going to be a player that it doesn't necessarily have to be a superstar or someone extremely well known. It's just a story that we think is either inspiring or just interesting or all of the above. So
yeah, no, I know neither of us picked guys who are like top 5 in the league. My guy's a little higher in his league than yours. But
yeah, definitely.
I know you guys got a World Series or 2, 3. I don't know. He's got a couple of rings on his fingers. So you want to go first?
Yeah, why not? I don't know how much research you put into it, so hopefully I'm not.
I get
hopefully I'm not way behind. Yeah, so my player profile, we got a baseball guy. What else can you expect, really? You probably saw that coming. But who I picked, we got David Ross. So David Ross, I love David Ross. I'm sure he's a little more mainstream now than he was before, but I loved him when he was with the Red Sox. And, I knew about him before, but not really. But, now he's got all his nicknames. Grandpa Rossi, he got from the Cubs. He's been on Dancing with the Stars. He's obviously the manager of the Cubs now. We've talked about him a couple of times in this podcast before, but I really want to dive into his story. So a couple of years ago, he released a book called Teammate, and I read his book, definitely recommend it. And it was basically highlighted his story, which some of it I knew, some of it I didn't know. Now I know all of it. Way to go. So it highlighted his story of being a teammate, because he's never been that superstar guy. He's never been the guy that's getting paid, tens of millions of dollars. He's always making either league minimum or max like $8 million, something like that. Which obviously good money. League minimum still $500,000 for MLB guys, but never the superstar, never even really a starter. He's always been known as a backup guy, or as he likes to refer to himself, just a personal catcher for some guys. So he started off his career getting drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 19th round. So already really late back then. And he did not sign and instead went on to play baseball at Auburn University. And then 3 years later, 1998, he's drafted in the 7th round. So a little higher up, but still nothing crazy. 7th round is still pretty low. He made his MLB debut in 2002. So not a huge amount of time in the minors, but a pretty substantial amount of time. He made it with the Dodgers and he was just there to pinch hit and catch bullpens. But he ended up hitting his first major league home run during there, so that was pretty cool. But anyway, his time with the Dodgers was pretty short, only 2 years. He was with the team until 2004. He then moves on to the Pittsburgh Pirates, only there for 40 games, barely any playing time at all. Then after 40 games with them, moves to the Padres for 11 games. Nothing special with them at all, 11 games only. Finally, in 2006, he signed a 2-year deal, the first quote-unquote big contract in his mind, with the Cincinnati Reds, worth $4.5 million. So he was still a backup catcher at this point, but he's now working into more of a personal catcher, catching guys, every 5 days he's doing it. So he's become the personal catcher for pitcher Bronson Arroyo and did that for the whole first season. Had pretty good success with the Cincinnati Reds. Again, nothing crazy. He's still only a replacement level player, still the backup. And he's not his name, you say it, you wouldn't know it around the league at all. Only hitting 203 in 2007, and he ended up being designated for assignment by the Reds. So this is where the story gets interesting, and he really dives into it. So yes, his performance was not great, but that's not the reason he was designated for assignment and then shortly after released by the Cincinnati Reds. The first time he was ever released it was in 2008. He had been in the big leagues for 6 years at that point, almost going to be a free agent, gets released by a team, becomes a free agent, but not in the way you want to be. So, like I said, he's not performing well, but he's not performing great, but he's performing like a backup would. But while he was released, manager Dusty Baker at the time of the Cincinnati Reds just said he was a terrible teammate and he didn't get along with guys. He was selfish, didn't, made decisions based on himself, basically just a terrible teammate and bad clubhouse poison. And he had never thought of himself this way. And, he's really bummed out that someone would think of him like that because he thought he was held pretty highly in the clubhouse. But it turns out other guys agreed, and except for the couple of the guys he caught and just, his friends, no one really cared about him that much or looked up to him or anything. So he's released, signs a short team minor league deal with the Red Sox in 2008 after being released. But he was in the minors pretty much that whole season except for September call-ups, and then ends up signing a 2-year deal, $3 million with the Atlanta Braves. And this is where his career completely turned around. At the time, their starting catcher, Brian McCann, he may be a Hall of Famer, maybe not. Maybe that's another discussion for a different time. But he looks up to Brian McCann, who at the time is a primetime catcher, absolute stud, great arm, great everything, and a great guy. And after being released for being a bad teammate, this is where David goes, all right, I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to be the best teammate I possibly can. He starts being almost that secondary manager, helping guys out where he can, especially the catchers, and just being a great teammate. He ends up signing, after his time with the Braves, is absolutely beloved by Braves fans, signs a deal with the Red Sox. This is where we get our, he's in the Beard movement in 2013, where we win the World Series with him as our catcher. After that, he moves on to the Cubs and is even more beloved with them than he was with the Red Sox. So he was with the Braves. It's completely embraced by everyone. So he ends up retiring and awesome after the 2016 World Series. But my favorite thing about him, other than his complete turnaround, is he ended his career. His last moment on the field was hitting a home run in the World Series, which is pretty awesome. So
Good way to go out.
They end up carrying him off the field, literally carrying him off the field, a champion. Now he's the manager of the Chicago Cubs. So this is a guy that went from being called selfish and a terrible teammate to literally the best teammate people said they've ever had, beloved, and now getting paid to manage guys and technically be the best teammate he could be. So just pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah, no, that's that is a real interesting story. I can know that he was that he kind of had that turnaround. I kind of always thought that he was the quote unquote chosen one.
When he's popular, you just hear him being that good teammate, being that he calls himself the glue guy, and that's a popular term in baseball because they hold the clubhouse
Yep.
together. And he never was that until they literally told him, "You're a terrible teammate." So he then dedicated his whole career to being the best teammate he could. He didn't care if he ever got any playing time. He was just going to be the guy who he knew he could be, who he wanted to be, and who benefited everyone else, which ended up ultimately benefiting him and the entire team.
Oh yeah, that's definitely that's a good I guess biography there for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good first athlete spotlight.
Oh yeah,
Puts a little pressure on me to try and deliver up to that level.
I'm sure you got it. Definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, you want me to just kind of roll in and
Yeah.
introduce my guy? And all right, so I did a basketball player, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But again, so not he's not my favorite player. But he's a guy that I have a lot of respect for, and I think that once you kind of hear his story, I think that you will too. You kind of have no choice but to. And so I mean, he essentially I don't want this to sound like I'm reading it, but like there's so many details. I kind of am. I don't want to miss anything. But yeah, I did Jimmy Butler,
Nice.
who currently plays for the Miami Heat. But essentially he overcame just absolutely enormous odds to get to the point where he is today in his life as both a player and a person. So Jimmy, he was born in Houston, Texas, and he never really knew his dad. His dad abandoned the family when he was an infant, so yeah, he never knew him. And then when he was 13 years old, living in a Houston suburb, his mom kicked him out of the house. So now at 13, there's a young 13-year-old boy who has absolutely nowhere to go. So essentially what it says is he bounced between house to house of his friends. He would just kind of crash for as long as they'd let him. So pretty much he'd stay for 2 to 3 weeks and then move off to the next one. He had some nights where he'd stay in the playground, and whether it was in a slide or whatever. So that's what he did all through middle school.
Yeah.
And then he hit high school. In his senior year, he was noticed by Jordan Leslie, who was a freshman at the high school, still in Texas, in the Houston area. And so this kid, Jordan Leslie, who was a freshman, Jimmy was a senior, said he noticed him, and he said he challenged him to a 3-point contest. So they had the 3-point contest. It's not really clear who won it, but the two immediately, they became pretty good friends, and Jimmy started crashing at his house with his family. And so they already had 6 kids. So Jimmy would be number 7. But they took him in within a few months, and Jimmy would later say they accepted me into their family, and it wasn't because of basketball. She, as in Leslie's mom, was just very loving. She did stuff like that. I couldn't believe it. It changed my life. And so as a junior, this is really where it's crazy. As a junior, he averaged 10 points a game, which is like I averaged more than that.
Yeah.
And so as a senior, he averaged 19.9 and then 8 rebounds, which is impressive numbers. But playing
nothing
just
crazy.
public high school basketball down in Texas, it's nothing crazy. So he goes on to junior college, where in Texas, Tyler Junior College. And so again, he's on track to go play, I don't know, a couple of years at junior college and then off to a job at whatever he's studying there. So after his freshman year, where he had 18 points and 7 rebounds, he drew interest from some D1 programs, one of which was Marquette, who fellow Big East opponent, and he accepted that offer. So as a sophomore, he went to Marquette his sophomore year, 5 points, 4 rebounds a game. Didn't play all that much. So again, it's kind of like, all right, maybe at best now he ends up playing in some random country overseas or whatever. But then his junior and senior year, he averaged 15 points and then 16 points a senior year, and was a Big East honorable mention both years. And And so after that, he got some NBA recognition following following his junior year, and then obviously through his senior year,
Right.
averaging 16 points a game in the Big East. And he was the 30th pick in the draft. So finally, it's like he's overcome absolutely everything that he could overcome. And then the year that he's drafted is the year of the NBA lockout. So, so
Of
as a
course.
rookie now, he plays. There's only a 42 game season. They essentially cut it in half, and he saw a very limited opportunity because of that, and just being a rookie, the 30th pick, he didn't get much run. But the following season, he played all 82 games for the Bulls, and so he started 12 playoff games that year. So he after his rookie year, he pretty much hopped right in. And then the next year, he missed 15 games with an injury, but he averaged a career high 38.7 minutes per game. So as a third year, which led the league. So he in his third year in the league, he already was leading the league per game. And so obviously at this point, you lead the league in minutes. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
He's all defensive team, second team in the NBA. And then he has a pretty good run with the Bulls for a couple more years. And then in 2015, the Bulls offer him a new contract, 5 years, $95 million. So this was after the year before he had won NBA Most Improved Player, he was the first Bull to ever win that. And so obviously that $95 million is just I can't wrap my head around how much money that is. I can't imagine what some kid who was sleeping in a playground 10 years before is thinking about that much money. And so he went on to have a good year, good next couple of years in Chicago, where he really became a superstar after he earned his money. And then in 2017, he was traded to the Timberwolves in exchange for Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, former Friar, and then Lord Markkanen, all of whom still play for the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he went to Minnesota, who had a star in itself with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, two young stars who had already been there. Right. So things didn't really go as planned there. He had meniscus surgery on his knee, and I don't know, everything kind of fell apart. He had the injury, and then the ego. He's a high ego guy from where he came from. Yeah. You got to be.
Exactly.
And Karl Anthony Towns is too. So yeah, things didn't work out there, but then he was traded again. He was traded again by this time by the Timberwolves to the 76ers, where they were a contending team before they got him, and then they added him, and they lost in Game 7 of the second round to the Raptors. Right. But I believe that might have been the year the Raptors won it all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it
was. I think last year they they lost in Game 7. He led them through their playoff run. And now he is currently with the Miami Heat, where he's signed another. I think he got a max deal, but he's doing very well for himself.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. I had no idea he came from that at all. And
yeah,
you're telling me, I mean, like you show me someone's high school stats like that, or even their college stats, I would never guess they're someone like Jimmy Butler in the NBA.
Oh, I know it. It's crazy. And so I did a little research to see what he'll make once his contract is up, which ends in 2023 with the Heat. And his career earnings will have topped $220 million.
Wow.
And he'll probably be able to get one more deal after that.
Yeah.
One more, because he's still pretty young. He's 30, so I guess that'll put him at 33. And yeah, he could probably play another 3 years. But yeah, no, I thought it was such a cool story to go from that to from his childhood, which was so tough too. 5-time All-Star,
Yeah, definitely.
most improved player. He's Olympian. I mean, so yeah, that was my kind of highlight there from the streets to living with friends to junior college to Marquette, where he was a bench player to a starter to the NBA
To an all-star.
stardom. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great one. I like that. I did not know that about him. It's awesome to hear about.
Yeah, no. So like I said, he's not my favorite player, but
It's a great story.
I have to respect him for
Yeah, you have to.
for overcoming those type of odds.
Yeah. So yeah, that was great. Maybe we'll continue to do something like this every time if more news doesn't roll in, even if it's a little bit shorter than it, or it doesn't have to be, because that was great. Yeah, so let's move on to our last topic. We just did player profiles of professional athletes. So let's do a little bit profile of ourselves.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this one.
Obviously both of us are not college athletes or superstars by any means, but what I want to hear is, in your eyes, what is your most impressive feat while playing a sport? It can be something in Little League, something you did in your backyard or high school, whatever. I just want to hear your favorite, most impressive thing you've ever done.
Oh, all right.
And try not to go on and on about yourself now.
I know. So what? It's 8:45 right now. I'll try and get this one done by midnight. Wow. Where do I? All right. So I think I got to do a basketball one. So I mean, I played baseball till I was like.
Okay, so let's start off with what sports have you played?
All right, so I played baseball until I think seventh grade. Never hit a home run. It still haunts me to this day.
It's all right.
My brother has won walk-off grand slam, but in a playoff game, and I don't have one.
Wow.
So that bugs me a little bit. And then basketball, I've played since as long as I can remember. And then golf, I started in like pretty much when I ended baseball, I started golf, and I've been playing since. So those are my three.
Gotcha.
But yeah, baseball, I don't even really have that good a story. I went to Cooperstown, not as a player, to watch my brother.
Oh.
Pretty cool.
I
got all the pins from every team in the tournament.
Oh, that's the best part about it. That's the best part about it. So you basically were there playing, because I went there as a player, and that was the highlight of it. Everyone, even the kids who won the home run derby, were like, "Yeah, pins is the best part."
Yeah, no. So baseball, I wish I had one, but I don't.
No, you don't. It's your personal thing. So
yeah, all right. So I'm giving you two. I'm giving you one from golf and then one from baseball, or one from golf
basketball.
And one from
all right,
let's hear golf. It's got to be the first time I shot under par in a high school match. I think it was junior year. It might have been senior year. It was one of the two. We're playing against the second best team in the league. We were the best, of course. So yeah, we're playing the second best team in the league on the road at their course, and I went out there and I shot. I think it was 2 under. 2 under. I shot. Handed it to their best player, who was probably the second best player in the conference after me, and I handed it to him. And great kid, but I'll never forget that. That was impressive. I called the coach right after, because we have an assistant coach who goes to away matches. The head coach didn't.
Right.
And it was a great conversation. He was so happy. I was pumped. So yeah, we'll say shooting under par for the first time in a match. Then basketball. This is a more meaningful one. Just unbelievable. So there's so many I could go with, but I'm just gonna go with it's the easy choice for me. I mean, so senior year, very good team, very, very good team. We had we went 19-4. I was a starting point guard, and we had the opportunity to play at the TD Garden. And so I was just getting back. I had missed the last 4 games I broke my wrist. So I just missed the last 4 games. Coming back, and we're a D3 team. We're playing against a D2 team at the Garden. Mm-hmm. Walk out there, and I almost passed out when I walked out the tunnel. and I looked up and I just almost went down.
Uh,
And so we start in lineups, whatever. We go out, we play. End of the first half, I have like 13 points or something. We put up like 45 in the first half. We're on track for like 90.
there you
We're up
go.
by 10.
Nice.
So I end the game. I end the game with 23 points, 10 boards, and I think it was like 6 or 7 assists. We beat them by I think we beat them by 10, 15, and it was unbelievable. I'll
The
never
Garden.
forget that day at the Garden. I'll
Awesome.
never forget that day.
Awesome.
It was so good.
Sounds like
Yeah.
That sounds like a good one. That's a blast.
Yeah, no, it was. I get so many pictures. I got the tickets right around here somewhere.
Of course you do.
Yeah, what do you got?
All right. So I guess I'll start off. The only sports I've played, I played soccer when I was super young, but I basically didn't play. 2 years of playing, I scored 1 goal. So definitely not my sport. But if I played longer, I think I would have been a pretty good goalie.
Okay.
Just saying. Tennis when I was pretty young, up until I was about 7 or 8. I was pretty good, not to toot my own horn, but I was at the point where we weren't playing matches yet at the place we went to. So I was like, if I'm not playing matches, I'm not playing. So, so at that point, that's when I was like, all right, I actually started T-ball. I did T-ball. I was like one of the last people to sign up for it in the town. And then I ended up either waiting a year or I don't know what happened. Basically, I skipped the league. Instead of 2 years of instructional baseball in Little League, went right to AA because, just 1 year. That's what we're all about. So right to coach, right from coach pitch to kid pitch, 1 year. That's how we do. I was a prime time player, second baseman, but that was pretty much the peak of my career, we're gonna say. No, I was pretty good in middle school and pretty good in high school, but baseball. The thing I'm gonna pick in sophomore year of high school, I was an all-star, and I've had a bunch of great plays that stick out in my mind. Maybe they're not great, but just memorable plays in my mind. But one game as a whole, I'm gonna pick is sophomore year, probably about like, I don't know, halfway through the season. Our team we're always a good team. We always make the playoffs. We're just known as that program. We're not always the best team, but once we make the playoffs, we're a train and we just keep going. So this game was really important to make sure we get to the playoffs. It's an away game in Barrington, Rhode Island, I think. Either Barrington or Burrville. I get, one of the B's up there. So we get a no-hit. The pitcher that's pitching against us is a Georgetown commit, throwing at that point, sophomore year, he was throwing mid-80s.
Is he a senior?
He's my age. Or no, he's a junior. I'm a sophomore. The pitcher's a junior. His senior year, he was touching 90. Yeah. Then we didn't touch him then either. But so we play 7-inning games in high school. I think we're in the 5th. We're probably in the 5th inning. Either 5th or the 5th inning, right? Still getting no hit. Yep. And everyone's all bummed out. And I just go in the dugout. I remember all of it because I wasn't a starter freshman year, but I was on varsity. So I got to know all the guys and basically the same team. No one really left. So I had all my buddies on the team and I was like still kind of like the rookie of the team almost. Yep. And I just went in the dugout. I was like, guys, I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get a hit. I'm going to get hit. They're like, just go do it. Like, we don't care. So I got out there. I don't remember what the count was or anything, but it might have been the first pitch and I drove it and got a nice little single. So that was awesome. Break up the no in like the 5th or 6th, whatever I was saying, and get up first base. High school. I'm not the fastest kid. I'm faster now, way faster now. But at that point, not so fast. So courtesy runner comes in. I call it the bench. I'm running to the guy. I told you guys. And they're just like, yeah, they was banging me on the head. I'm like the shortest kid on the team, so they're banging me into the ground on my helmet. And then I come up again, and I'm like, guys, like, what the heck? I'm gonna get another one. So someone had walked, still no other hits except mine, and I get up again. I think I either a single, a single,
No
score the
way.
run. I get the first hit of the game, second hit of the game, and the first RBI of the game. So, I mean, I've had a lot of like multiple RBI games, multiple hit games, but that one, I mean, breaking up the kid, best pitcher in the league, almost not the best. We had the best, but probably the hardest thrower in the league, and one of my earlier games in my career is just something that maybe not my best performance, but it stuck out.
Oh, that's an unbelievable story.
Yeah, I think
especially just the confidence that you have.
No, it wasn't even confidence. It was just like I'm gonna get a hit, guys. Like maybe who knows? I'm gonna.
It was like oh, we all have no chance. I'm gonna get a hit.
Yeah, well, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a hit. Like, why not? Did I think I was? I don't know. Maybe.
I hope that kid who you got the hit against somehow finds a way to make it one day. That'll make that story that'll make it even better.
That would. I don't know if he would. He's probably like a relief pitcher up at. I don't even know if he went to Georgetown. I think he did, but he did have an offer. All my other memories are just like me catching and not really doing anything. I'm just kind of like there for the moment. Like I'm calling the shots, but like it's not me personally.
Yep.
But
no, that's a great one though.
Yeah, I've caught a lot of no hitters, so it's cool. But other than that, yeah, that's it for me.
No,
Yeah.
I like this. We should start tooting our own horns more on this.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we're washed up now. But yeah, I'll go relive it. You can probably still compete. I'm done.
Yeah.
Just wait next game.
I'm pretty sure my brother just died. I just heard the biggest bang come from that door. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good, man. I do. You know. I just thought of this. The worst part about the coronavirus not being allowed on PC, I don't get to drop nukes on the softball field for intramural softball.
I know it. And the worst part is I'm getting emails about the intramurals, but it's like for like intramural video games and like
video games.
Salt in the wound.
I'm waiting for MLB The Show. I might do that one.
Might as well.
Probably. I mean, I'm not good enough, but maybe you'll stay connected.
We got nothing to do, so you might as well.
Might as well.
It's so boring, but literally, no, I know. Today I picked up my cleats, which apparently they weren't even gonna let me wear anyway for the softball, but I was totally gonna wear them because I bought them to look spicy on the field.
Yeah, we can't play ultimate frisbee either, which we signed up for and didn't show up to. But we were on the team. We made the team by putting our name down, so that counts.
Yeah, that's a blessing in disguise, though. Actually, no, it would have been fun.
It would have been fun.
Maybe we do it next year.
We'll think about it. Yeah, so your cleats were nice. You got Jordan cleats.
I know. They're sitting in my closet now. They'll be ready for next season.
Yeah, we'll keep them warm.
But yeah.
All right.
That's all. You got anything else? I feel like we got a.
I emptied the tank on this one.
I did too.
Yeah, I think we really pulled together something nice for this one. So
I did too. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this. What's today? Sunday. So Monday. So it'll probably be coming out tomorrow, Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Afternoon. What you got a busy schedule tomorrow?
I got a Zoom accounting class, and other than that, nah.
Awesome.
But hey, you want to hear something funny today? before I stop, maybe they want to hear it. Probably not, but it's funny. I was gonna tell you anyway. On the way home from packing up my dorm, I have to take a Zoom quiz. I have to take a quiz. So I'm driving, and I got my friend Drew is next to me. And I'm like, hey, you want to log on to my phone and take the quiz for me? And he's like, yeah, sure thing. Let's do it. So he's reading me all the answers. And he's like, dude, what is this? He can't even pronounce the book. It was Machiavelli the Prince. He goes, what? Who? I was like, it's like Machiavelli. He's like, what is it? I'm like, dude, you have the best guess as me. I don't know. And I read it. So we're taking the quiz together in the car. And then 5 minutes later, yeah, there it is. 5 minutes later, I'm like, all right, we gotta hop on the class now. So just shut up and just listen.
His brain must have been going 1,000 miles per hour during that lecture.
He was like, "What the heck? This is so like I can't take this. It's Civ, so like he's never seen anything like it." I'm like, dude.
No, I mean I sit in Civ and that's what I do, so I can't
Like now you
imagine.
know. Like now you know how I feel, man.
Now you know how I feel 3 days
was-
a week.
He was like praying to God that my professor asked me a question so he could unmute it and answer for me.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. So
Oh man.
that's my funny story for the day.
Yeah,
but-
I wish I had a funny story, but I really don't. It was a
Maybe-
boring day.
maybe
Actually, yeah, I
next-
had to move out. I mean, I saw
Maybe next
Juan,
time.
the janitor.
I did
At
too.
moved out.
I did
He was in a
too.
good mood.
Great
Didn't-
mood.
He's not going to be in a good mood when he sees the amount of dust that he has to clean up off my floor.
I left him some stuff under my bed that I didn't want to touch, some dusty stuff. I don't even know.
Oh, that's nice of you.
You need something to do. It's boring. There's no more soap dispensers to fix.
Oh, good point. Good point. Or yeah, no toilets, no soap dispensers, nothing.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
we'll wrap this up. We've
We'll wrap it
been
up
going
now.
on for time.
Yeah, so thanks to everyone for listening on this wonderful Monday. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.